Good morning, everyone. Here we are, and get the little thing going there. Okay, so the video's on. Okay, so we're gonna do a couple different things today, and it's gonna be really fun. So I'm gonna be working with eggplant, and it's not something that I am very good at. I'm not really a fan of eggplant, but I know it's really, really good for you. And so, so I am going to give it a shot here. What I found with it is that I find it too mushy, you know, but I have had a couple recipes that were really good with it. So we're going to give that a try. And so what I'm going to do is start cutting it up now. And a bird just dive bombed out there. So I'm going to cut it up now, and we're going to give this a try because I have had this before. I don't remember the name of the restaurant that I had it in, but there was a restaurant in Victoria. Hey, Minette, good morning. We're going to work with eggplant today. And yeah, so it was a restaurant. Oh, it's a blue jay on the... or stellar jay. Oh, it's in Victoria, and I know it's vegetarian. I'm not sure if it's a vegan restaurant, but they had the most. They do have the most amazing. You know, it's like Chinese food, but it's all completely vegan, and you would never know the difference that it wasn't chicken or beef or pork or whatever. So. So I'm going to make some of these bigger and some smaller and just see how I like it. So, oh, the dish. The dish. We need the dish to put them in. Okay, so these guys are going to go in here, and we're going to set that here. That'll be okay. Me and my little tiny workspace here. It's always so interesting to, you know, try and fit everything onto this little spot. Just because of the way my kitchen's made, it's just makes it a little bit more interesting and fun to try and do things over here. Okay, so, oh, you guys can't see that. All right, I'm going to set this here so you can see what I'm doing. And so we're just going to chop this up, and that's going to be a lot. For two people, but on the other hand, I honestly don't know what else to do with the eggplant. If anybody else has any ideas, let me know. Hey, Darlene, good morning. Yeah, because I just, like I say, I don't work with eggplant, and I haven't gotten used to it. It's got cute little seeds here, so I'm not sure about this because, oh, it might be all right. I just don't want it to get too mushy. And maybe I'll just use that piece and try and think of something else, unless you guys have ideas for what else to do with eggplant, which is why it's so fun to be on this Facebook Live and to have everyone commenting and giving their suggestions and opinions on all kinds of things, and what kind of foods to try and different ways of working with healthy foods. And so I'm thinking I might use one more piece, because if I really like this, I'm going to like it a lot. If it turns out, we'll see. We'll see if it turns out. Speaking of turning out, yesterday didn't turn out very well. Yesterday was like, oh my God, everything went wrong. So we're going to finish up yesterday's recipe that didn't turn out, and whoops, one for the dog. The dog loves vegetables. Yeah, so anyway, we'll do that after we do this. Okay, so the trick to this, apparently, this is what I've heard, is you sprinkle it with salt and a little bit of vinegar and mix it well. Actually, there was a specific way of doing this, and I'm not really sure. Let me just see if I have something handy to do this with, because I remember now that it works easier if you do it in something like this. So let's try it. Okay, we're going to go like that. We'll set this here in case we need it again. Okay, so we're just going to sprinkle. Hey, Jane, hi. Yeah, the Japanese eggplant. Okay, I don't know what the difference is. This is the one that I bought, and I really, this is the one that I see in the stores. I don't think that I've seen the long skinny ones, or I'm not looking right, but I think that I've only seen these like egg-shaped ones, so I don't know. Vinegar, that's what I said. That's what I said. Oh my gosh, okay, so we're just gonna kind of pour this into the teaspoon and sprinkle it. And so apparently, so I'm told, this draws out the moisture. Excuse me. So as we know, the salt draws out the moisture in the sauerkraut and in the raw fermentation, so it makes sense that we do it here. So in that case, I might add just a little more salt to draw that out, because when I think about that, when we make raw sauerkraut, we do use quite a bit of salt, and it really does draw out the moisture. So that's the plan for here. And I'm using a Himalayan sea salt, and so I guess I will kind of use this to try and get that salt everywhere. And then what you do, apparently, is you leave it for 15 minutes. And so similar to the, I'm actually going to add some more because I don't think I used enough for this amount. But similarly, when you do your sauerkraut and you massage it in, you leave it for a little while, and then it gets really, really watery. So that's what we're trying to do here. La la la, living new recipes. Okay. So we're going to try and get that vinegar and that salt everywhere. Okay. You're supposed to be able to go like this without it flying around the room. Oh my gosh, that piece didn't come apart. Okay. Hi Jane, you must be there. I don't see you on there, but you're usually here. Sometimes I don't see the comments and who's actually on, and so I apologize if I miss anybody. Okay, all right, so that's the thing. So we are setting that there. All right, so here's what we did yesterday that kind of went sideways on me. And, oh, I forgot. I'm going to have to bring it over here. I'm going to set this here, and I'm going to bring this here because we need to move things around just a little bit. And so, yesterday, we were attempting to make pleasecake, which is like a cheesecake. And what we did was we ground I had a nut mix with pecans, walnuts, and hazelnuts, and we mixed that together with some dates and put that in the blender so that it turns into kind of like a crust. And then we put it into the little molds here, which is like super awesome. You can use that for any kind of a crust, and then you put it in the freezer and it gets quite hard. And if you press it in there really firmly, then it really holds together, like for the bottom of a crust or a cookie or whatever. So this is our cheesecake, pleasecake crust bottom. So then what you do is you take, and I'm going to do this in this one here. I wonder if that's big enough. Might have to do it in 2. We'll see. Anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to add we're going to add 2 cups of cashew, or not 2 cups, 1 cup of cashews that I've soaked. So these are the soaked cashews that I soaked, and so we're going to add these in, and we're going to try this again, and then I'll tell you what happened yesterday. It was so funny. Actually, it was painfully funny, one of those times, right? So the cashews, and then you're going to add 1/3 cup of melted coconut oil. Okay, and you have to melt it because if it's cold, if it cools down, it will solidify, which is what makes your cheesecake pleasecake. And so what we did yesterday was so funny. Really, it wasn't funny. Was that we added cold liquid to it, and then it solidified the cheesecake before I could blend it, which was really funny, but it wasn't really all that funny. So, I don't know why my maple syrup disappeared. It was right here. We're going to add some maple syrup. So we have cashews, we have coconut milk, we have room temperature or warmer almond milk to add to this. And, oh, there it is. It is here. Yay, maple syrup. So we're going to add a little bit of sweetener. We don't need a lot because the cashews are fairly sweet, and I don't want this to be super sugary. But on the other hand, I am going to add pure organic cocoa, so that's going to be bitter. So I will add just a little bit more of the maple syrup to it, and then we're going to add a little bit of the almond milk, which has been warmed, so that the oil doesn't solidify from the coldness. That was just like way too funny. I never even clued in that this is pure organic cocoa. I never even clued in that adding something cold to the melted coconut oil would make it go solid again and then be unblendable. Like, oh my God, I just didn't even think of that. Okay, so we're going to add this and pray for it to not solidify too much. Okay, and then unfortunately, because I have such a small space here, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this or if I can get this over here. Maybe I can. Maybe. Okay. The right blender. Bottom. Okay. I think. I have 2 of these. I have the Miracle Blender, which is actually, you know, a really cool machine. And then I got a Magic Bullet because sometimes I like to use both for the recipes, but I can never remember which lids fit what. Okay, now hopefully this is the right lid and the right bottom for this particular one, but the Magic Bullet's right there, so I'm like totally prepared in case one doesn't work. Yeah, right, like I'm never totally prepared. Okay, let's give this a try. And hopefully, you know, you want to make sure there's enough liquid, but not too much. Okay, let's see. Kind of neat how the coconut oil just makes it come dribble down. So yeah, so that's like about the right amount, and of the milk. Oops. Uh-oh, knocking everything down here. No knocking down. Too much. Oh, me and my tight spaces. Okay, so we have a little bit of that in there. So here we need to get this in here before it solidifies, although it's still very warm. And what we're going to do is we are going to put this in the freezer, and then it will freeze into the cheesecake please cakes. So I'm going to have chocolate please cakes. I should try and do this with my left hand so you guys can see what I'm doing. Turn it like that. It looks like I probably could have blended it a little bit more, but that's okay. I don't mind if it has a little bit of texture, but if you wanted to have it super smooth, then you can. And so we're going to freeze these, and then as soon as that coconut oil becomes cold, it will make these solid, like little cheesecakes. And when you put them in the freezer and you leave them there, when you take them out, like I've taken them out right from frozen, and you can still get into them when they're frozen. And then if you leave them out for just like 5 minutes in a warm room, they soften up, you know, just to a nice texture. So, whoops. Okay, and then the rest of this can go into a smoothie or whatever. Just don't put anything cold in it or it'll solidify. Actually, you could just solidify it and eat it like straight up cheesecake with a spoon. Okay, so that's that. I made a little too much. That's all right. That's awesome. All right, so we're going to set this aside. I could actually add a little more to this. Okay, so we'll set this aside, and then you can decorate it with whatever you want. You can put a little bit of flaked coconut flakes, or cranberries, or goji berries, or hemp hearts, all kinds of different things. You know, you could even add little chocolate chips on the top, or whatever you want to do to dress that up. I'm going to have a little bit of my water here. Seems to be one of those horsey days. Okay, this, I'm going to set this aside there, so I'm just trying to make room. This is my beautiful, it turned out so good, the apple jalapeno jelly. It's not really jelly, it's more, it's a spread, apple jalapeno spread. And because I didn't make it a jelly, it's not clear at all, it's more like a jam. So I just smashed up apples to like you would for applesauce, and then added a bunch of peppers, and oh my god, it is so good. And so yeah, that turned out absolutely perfectly awesome. And I added just a 1/4 teaspoon of agar-agar. So that's like, instead of pectin, it hardens things up, and you don't need much, like a 1/4 teaspoon to the whole. I think I had like 8 jars in the recipe. 4 cups. I know it was 4 cups of applesauce, so just a 1/4 teaspoon of agar-agar was enough. So that turned out awesome. And we have our beautiful heart-shaped tomato. Isn't that cute? How that turned out into a little heart shape. And our turmeric onions are coming along. These are fermenting. These are the onions. They're just white onions sliced in turmeric and salt for the with a little bit of pepper to activate the turmeric. So these will be anti-inflammatory because of the turmeric, and also anti-inflammatory because of the onions are anti-inflammatory. And so those are coming along. The sauerkraut is looking really, really good. I'm trying to think of when I made this. I think it was last week sometime, and so it's been out for a week. I'm really, really loving these lids. I just ordered more, but they're really hard to find. I think I told everyone about them, and then they sold out, and I couldn't find the same lids, so I had to order different little rubber lids for fermenting. And yeah, very interesting. After I put it on Facebook, all of a sudden I couldn't find it anymore. Anyway, this is coming along really good. So after a couple weeks of being on the counter, you know, depending on your temperature of your house, you can ferment. Like in the summer when it was super hot, that salsa fermented in like 3 days, you know, or 5 days. And so in this kind of weather, you're looking at a week, maybe 2, depending on how warm your house is. And then once it reaches the perfect flavor of fermentation that you love, it will ferment. It'll continue. If you left it out, it would continue to ferment more, and unfortunately start to evaporate more. So that would be more prone to bacteria and a moldy growing on it. So like a scummy SCOBY. So after it's reached its perfection to your taste, you can just stick it in the fridge, and it'll stop the fermentation process. It will still be fermented. It'll still have all the benefits, but it's just at that perfect peak. And you can keep it in there for like months. So the fermentation, as we've talked about, you know, a million times, so good for your immune system and your gut health and your that distracted me. Your immune system runs through your friendly bacteria, and you need probiotics, and these are the best probiotics to do the fermented raw foods. So I have a few tomatoes here from the garden. I'm so happy. Oops, there's another bean on the floor for the dog. Good thing she loves veggies. So I'm just making space here as I'm waiting for the 15 minutes for this this should go right into the freezer, but I don't want to run away and distract you guys even more. So we're going to give that a couple more minutes while I talk about something else to entertain you and hopefully share some information that is helpful. Put my cute little heart-shaped tomato there. Is mullein. Mullein is amazing. This is a mullein plant, and they're mostly almost done by now. And I see we have new people, but I don't know who they are. Hi, everybody. So this, it's a desert plant ideally. I mean, ideally it likes to grow in desert conditions. They're usually from the Okanagan if you're around here or any place that's super warm. And it grows, like it'll get like 6 feet tall, and just gonna wipe my hands from that. And so it will, it'll grow super tall. It's super fuzzy leaves, and the leaves are really, really good for your lungs, for your respiratory, for your it's really helpful in cases like if you've had bronchitis or pneumonia or something like that. It's very healing and soothing to the mucous membranes, and the respiratory system is good for the lymphatic system. You can even make it into an oil that's helpful for, it's been used to help with ear issues. So it's a super awesome plant, but specifically for the lungs and respiratory system, if you have anything going on or if you're sensitive. I'm very sensitive and I have lung issues. I'm always, you know, congested in the lungs. And so, so it's really important for me to support that, because everyone has a genetic challenge usually. No, and some people don't, you know, but I haven't run across too many people that are like perfectly healthy. And so we all have this little thing that we work with. And so in my opinion, or in my experience, I should say, you know, that we all have little health challenges that we work with, and we need to support those so that they maintain a healthy balance for us to be able to function in the way that we want to, and that they don't degenerate into something that makes our life less fun. So in my case, it's lungs. And so, so the mullein, I drink mullein tea all the time, and especially in the winter. Daily in the winter, not so much daily in the summer, but in the winter specifically, because I'm really, really prone to sensitivity to the lungs. And it's soothing, healing, it's mucilaginous, it has beautiful, mild flavor. The taste is just lovely. It's just a really lovely tea. And I put it in my cold and flu tea. I have cold and flu tea here that works amazing. I have hundreds and hundreds of testimonials on how well it works. Kind of like Buckley's, you know, it's not really the very best flavor in the world, but it really, really works. And although it's nice, it's medicinal. So anyway, it has the mullein in it, which is the lovely taste. And so it's really, really good and soothing for your lungs. So if you, you probably don't have mullein growing in your yard, but you can get a plant. I have some extra plants that I could spare if somebody wants one to grow. Otherwise, I would suggest that you purchase some mullein and drink it as a tea, because it's really, really helpful for the lungs, and super awesomely just helps to repair that all the little membranes and those little, the word escapes me, those little things in your lungs. Just going to rinse my hands off before we do the next step here with the eggplant. And so, okay, so with our clean hands, because we'll be using our clean hands for this next part. So we're going to take this and we are going to turn this on, and I might run over time today, but I kind of had to wait for this to do its thing apparently, so I've been told. Just going to push this back a bit so I have more room. Turn this on a bit. I am going to put a little bit of oil in the pan because I'm just trying to think of how this process goes. Okay, we're going to put oil in the pan. I don't want it to get too hot because you don't want oil too hot. I don't use a lot of oil in my recipes, but in this case we are going to try and crisp this up so that I actually end up liking the eggplant. So I'm not too much of a fan. Okay, so apparently what you're supposed to do with this is rinse it off. Actually, we're going to rinse the salt off a bit. So I will go and do that, and then we're going to try and pat it dry with a paper towel. So I'll do that real quick to get some of the salt off. And like I said, the okay, so like I said, the reason that we salted it was to try and draw out the moisture, which totally makes no sense to me at all that we went and just got it all wet again after the moisture. But I guess it's to draw out the internal liquid out of the inside of the eggplant. That's my guess. And so, and I know that that helps it to break down, you know, when we do the sauerkraut and we do the cabbage and we salt it, it breaks down the cell walls. So, so that's probably why we're doing this. This is supposed to be similar to that recipe, or that, yeah, I guess it's a recipe, to that meal that I had in Victoria. So we're going to try and put this into a sesame ginger sauce, which is going to taste exactly, apparently, exactly like sesame ginger. What would it be? What do they call a sesame ginger dish that is in the Chinese restaurants? Sesame ginger chicken, would it be? I don't know. Anyways, okay, so we're going to try and pat these guys dry, and then we are going to pop them back in this bowl here. Try and get them even drier. Okay. All right, and we're going to use another ingredient that I don't use very often either, that I'm not fond of, but we're doing lots of things I'm not fond of today. I usually like to be a little slightly healthier than what I'm doing, but I do want to try this because I think it's important for me to learn how to like eggplant. So, okay, how's this coming? Doesn't look very hot. Okay, so I don't know if we're going to get to the final finish, but we'll try. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to move this maple syrup over, so we don't need that anymore, and we're going to add a little bit of the other ingredient that I don't really care for, which is cornstarch. And I like to use tapioca starch personally because I think that we get so much corn in our diets, and we, you know, corn's in everything. They just put in everything as a filler flavor, and I love my tortilla chips. I, you know, totally love my popcorn. But I know that, you know, we tend to get corned out, you know, too much corn. Whoops. And so, so I try to limit it because, you know, it's just not good to have too much one thing all the time. And we definitely, you know, in my experience, we definitely have too much corn. Okay, I don't know. I better not throw this all over the place. Maybe I'll use my other thing here. My better thing. I'll use my better thing. Oh my god. That's the problem with this recipe though. I usually like to make 15-minute meals. And so if you go on to my YouTube channel, I have about, I got that spoon wet, so that's no good. Can't use that again. If you go on to my YouTube channel, you will see, oh my gosh, a couple hundred videos of 15-minute healthy meals that I put together. And I'm not a professional cook at all. I'm a certified herbalist and natural health consultant, and I just try and eat healthy. That's so not going to work. And so that's what the recipes are. They're usually 15 minutes fast, healthy cooking, or recipes. And so this is an effort of love because it's taking quite a bit longer than 15 minutes. You have to wait 15 minutes just for it to do its thing. So, okay, so this is my attempt at getting it coated. We're going to turn into another comedy show like yesterday. Oh my God, yesterday was such a disaster. Way too much fun. But that's what we do, is we experiment with foods that are healthy. We experiment with recipes that I have never tried. And when you guys comment and you ask me to try new things, then I'm more than happy to give it a shot. And then we all learn together, and I get to make the mistakes so that you don't have to. And then we learn. So many times we start off with a recipe, and it ends up being a completely different thing. Like I might start off trying to make a stir fry, it turns into a soup, or start off with soup and it turns into a stir fry, or many other variations of all those different things that can happen. And there's always plan B. A lot of people have said they like watching me because it makes them not afraid to make mistakes in the kitchen. And to me, really there are no mistakes. You just go on to plan B, change the recipe. I mean, if all else fails, you can usually turn it into soup or feed it to your son in my case, and or somebody else similar that would eat, pretty much anything, as long as they know it's healthy, right? So if it's healthy food, you can always do something with it to save the recipe. Okay, so my feeling is this isn't quite hot enough, but I do have a healthy respect for heating oil. So oil can catch on fire like all by itself. If you don't know that, it can. And so you need to always watch your oil. So in the meantime, what we're going to do here, while waiting for this, is we will make our sauce. Just set this here. I don't know if you guys can see well enough, but we're just going to go with some ginger and some soy sauce. I'm just going to add this in. That's quite a bit of eggplant, so I'm going to go with what do you think, you guys? Quarter of a cup? I think it's about a quarter of a cup of the soy sauce. Okay, watch the oil. Watch the oil. Okay, we're going to add the ginger, and you could add raw ginger if you want. I'm just going to add this powdered ginger, and I like ginger. I like it a lot, but I kind of want this to be my attempt at that traditional recipe. So I don't know, it's pretty gingery, I think, that recipe. Okay, so I'm going to say like that's almost a level teaspoon of ginger. Watch our oil here. You can test by putting a little piece in there. Not much happened. Okay, we'll keep it on. Okay, all right. We've got, can you see that? Soy sauce, ginger. Okay, all my stuff here. We've got some chili flakes here. I'm gonna add some chili flakes. These are pretty strong. So, I don't know. I don't want it too spicy because I'm gonna add a little actual chili. I was so excited to get actual chilies, and starting to bubble now. And so these guys are like super cool. I did dehydrate a whole bunch of chilies. I'm so happy to be able to do that. And so I dehydrated a bunch of chilies, and then these guys didn't quite dehydrate, but they're very, very powerful. So I've just added like hardly any because they are like crazy, crazy, crazy hot. And And so you need to chop it up really fine, and then make sure when you're chopping up chilies that are that hot and you're touching them, do not stick your fingers in your eyes. You know, preferably not your mouth. Okay, I'm gonna carefully scoop that in because I don't want to touch it and then forget and touch my face. Like you're supposed to know by now, don't touch your face. No matter what you do, don't touch your face. Oh, it's such crazy times that we live in right now. Okay, so it's looking like he's starting to sizzle a bit. Okay, I'm going to put the rest of this in, and I'm going to try not to put too much liquid in, because I really don't want, oh yeah, it's just right. I might even have to turn it down. I don't want to splatter, right? So if you're doing something with oil, do not add liquid with the oil if you can help it. Super important. Okay, so I need a different utensil for that. Okay. All right. So, okay, we're going to just keep an eye on that. We're going to carry on here. Oh yes. Okay, so I am going to add a couple pieces of my beautiful homegrown garlic here. It just has some little tiny skins on it, so pretty easy to peel. Like I said, pretty easy to peel. It's not easy to peel. Okay, let's just smash it. When you smash it, it cracks the skin usually right off, which is super helpful. You know, when they're young like this, a little peel is just so, you know, glued right to it. Okay. Yeah, it kind of freaks me out cooking with this much oil because I just don't. And but the idea is to you know, get a little bit of a coating on there, and so that it's not so mushy. So I don't know, I'm just going to go with this and know that I'm not going to eat this kind of rich food very often. That one's stuck together. Okay. Okay, I'll just keep that heat high. All right, so getting the rest of the garlic in here. You guys still with me? I'm going way over time. Oh no, not too bad. Okay. And if this turns out like the Sesame Ginger that I had at the restaurant, I'll be so happy. Whoops, I forgot to cut that. Oh well. I'm getting distracted. Okay, one more piece of garlic here. Seeing as how I threw that in whole. And, oh my gosh, come on you garlic. Okay. It just doesn't want to come out of its peel. It doesn't want to. Come on you. Cooperate. And then you get all the gluey garlic. Okay, paper towel. Oh, last one. Hope I don't need any more. Okay. So, I'll give this another stir. Whoops. Did you guys see that? Oh my God, we're so used to throwing things around here. I might have added too much oil. I'm not very happy about that. I should have added only a tiny bit. Okay, anyways, and wherever that eggplant went, I'm sure the dog will get it. Okay, get this garlic in here. Okay, without the skin. There we go. We have to let that cook for a bit anyway, so it's a good time. It gives us time to make the sauce. Oh my God, that is just way too oily. Okay, I'm just not used to it. When I see people frying an inch of oil, it just freaks me right out. Okay, and that wasn't even an inch. It wasn't even enough to coat the whole pan. But you know, because I'm not familiar with or cook with oil very often, that maybe when you just coat the whole pan with like hardly any, it's not absorbing into the eggplant, because it's looking like oil, but I don't think it is because I hardly put any in there. So, but I'm not familiar with, yeah, see I think it's the juice from the eggplant is what I'm seeing and kind of freaking out about. And I'm looking at Monique's Forks Over Knives flavor and Indian Vegetarian Feast. I will check that out. Okay, all right, so just going to keep that on. All right, so the sugar. We need sugar in here, and I might need more, hard to say. I'm going to add a little bit, I'm not really sure. I want to add a little bit of cornstarch to this, but I don't want to add too much because I don't want it to get like gooey, although, yeah, maybe I do want it to get gooey. Okay, so that was like a heaping tablespoon of sugar, and I'm going to add a little bit more because it's coconut sugar. So this is the coconut sugar. It has a lower glycemic index than regular sugar, so it is better for you because it's more slowly absorbed into the system, so it doesn't spike your blood sugar as much. This is granulated garlic, so it's like little garlic granules, which is really awesome. And it like almost looks like sesame seeds. So when you finish this, what you're supposed to do traditionally is to sprinkle sesame seeds over it. And I know I have some, and do you think I can find them? I just don't have a clue where those things went. So we're just going to do without. The only other thing I want is, oh gosh, I'm just trying to think. Okay, so we got the ginger. We got the soy sauce. We got the, I'm going to add just a teensy bit of the cornstarch. And I'm going to do a little bit of salt and pepper too, but I'm just going to add a tiny little bit in there. Not too much, because I don't want it too big. I think this heat should be way higher. That's my unprofessional opinion, but this is as high as this burner goes. So there's another lesson for me in that I don't usually cook with a super high heat, and I've never had a problem with this burner because I don't usually cook with a super high heat, but I don't know, maybe it's supposed to look like that. Who knows? Oh my God, okay, oh yeah, stir the cornstarch while the liquid, always add your cornstarch while your liquid is cold so it doesn't get lumpy. So we're just going to add a little bit here, and I don't know if that's looking like enough. I am going to taste it because I might add a little bit of water to it just to see. Yeah, I think so, because it's got enough of the soy sauce. I don't want it to taste like totally like soy sauce. And it's got a good little ginger bite too. I'm going to add some salt, tiny bit, because it is salty from the soy sauce. I'm going to add more pepper. I'm just waiting for that pepper bite, right? Because we added the chili flakes and the pepper. I don't really want to bore you guys with cutting up a little tiny piece of more pepper, so I'm going to add a little more pepper flakes. So this would be, I'm going to say a heaping half teaspoon, I think, is what's in here. And then I think I will add a little bit of water. Okay, so let's see what happens when I add this. The cornstarch, it's interesting because the cornstarch, I thought, I don't know, I thought it would brown, and it doesn't seem to be. So if you guys have ever made this before and you have any ideas, I would be totally open to the ideas. Like I say, I do intuitively feel like this should be much hotter. So we'll see. And then my plan is, because it's only like not even noon, my plan is to just reheat this for dinner tonight. So we'll see how it lasts through the day. I'll stick it in the fridge and then I'll bring it out, warm it up for dinner. We'll see how it fared hanging out for the day without being eaten right away. What am I looking for? I'm looking for, oh yeah, water. Water. I'm going to put some things down so that I don't end up throwing them on the floor. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit of water to this. And I'm just wondering, adding water. Isn't it fun to think while you're cooking and nobody cares? I'm just thinking if I should add a little more cornstarch to this because I added more water, right? So I don't want it to be too watery. So we're going to say that I've added a level teaspoon of cornstarch. And the next time I do this, I'm going to work with tapioca because I love tapioca starch. I don't really like cornstarch at all. I like tapioca, but I wasn't sure if this recipe would work with tapioca, so I went with the traditional, you know, how they use it at the restaurant. So I'm going to get another spoon, yet another spoon, and give this a try just to see now. More sugar. More sugar! More sugar, because I think it's the teriyaki flavor has more sugar. Oh, the heat's nice. I'm getting the heat. The heat is very nice. Okay, more sugar. So this would make it, what did I say? What did I say we added? I think I said a teaspoon or a tablespoon or something. But anyway, just do it to taste. Okay, you guys. All right, here we go. This is it. I'm going to taste it one more time. One more. And give this another stir. I don't know. It's just like it's not doing anything. I guess it's cooking. We'll see. Okay. Ooh, just right. Perfect. All right, here we go. We'll see what happens. I should actually use this spoon here. Make sure I get all the loveliness. I mean spatula, not a spoon. But anyway, you know what I mean. You guys are used to me. Okay, there we go. And hopefully this will make me like eggplant or love it. It looks good. With the heat and the amount of cornstarch, it's looking really good and it's smelling amazing. Gee, I don't know, we might have to have this for lunch instead of dinner. It's smelling very, very good. Wow. That sauce is just coming along. Beautiful. Holy moly. Looks good, smells good. Get it coated on there. Get every little piece coated. I remember when I was took home ec in whatever it was, junior high school or whatever, and I remember the cooking teacher. She said I think we were making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and in school, and she said when you spread it on the bread, the first bite should taste like the last. Like, don't just spread it, whatever you're spreading for a sandwich, don't just spread it in the middle and leave space around the crust. She said spread each piece evenly so the first bite should taste like the last. So, as I'm doing this, I'm like, okay, every piece needs to be coated because the first bite should taste like the last. Every bite should taste the same. Deliciousness. It looks good. Smells good. I think it might be like really good, and maybe I better quit stirring it and shut it off because I'm going to start turning it to mush. Okay, so I don't know how well this is going to hang out until dinner time, but it's looking and smelling absolutely amazing. And there is a little mushy piece there that I should probably try. Little tiny piece. Let's see. Hot. Wow. It does not taste like eggplant. That is awesome. In my opinion. It doesn't taste like eggplant. Maybe somebody else would know that's good. That's really good. That is awesome good. So, yeah, so I'm just going to shut this off and Yeah, that's really good. You guys should try it. And if you have any other, quit stirring, no water yet. Okay, I can't read and cook at the same time, but I'll keep that in mind. And definitely send me, if you guys have any eggplant recipes, send them to me because I really want to get to know this animal and work with it more. And so anyway, I'm way over time. Okay, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 and have a really great day. I quit stirring. See you tomorrow at 11. Check out my YouTube and my Instagram and we'll see you tomorrow.